I grew up in the era of great boxing, and I recall some of the greats, such as Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, Ken Norton, George Foreman, and one of my greats was Mike Tyson. And one of the saddest realities in my boxing world was to see my hero get knocked out. And I asked myself, how do you come back from a knockout like that? And I noticed that they have to regroup, they have to learn from their experience and share that experience with someone else. And so the question came to me, how do you survive a spiritual knockout? How do you survive a spiritual knockout? Well, there's a word from the Lord that's found in 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, verses 8 and 9. It simply says by the Apostle Paul, we are troubled on every side, but not in distress. We are perplexed, but not in despair. We're persecuted, but not forsaken. We are cast down, but not destroyed. If anybody knew something about a spiritual knockout, it was Paul. He'd been beaten 40 times, saved one, shipwrecked 3 times, left for dead, peril on water, peril on land, forsaken by countrymen, forsaken by church people. He'd even been left for dead, bitten by a snake. Paul knew something about being spiritually knocked out. But he gives us some hints on how to survive a knockout in those 2 little verses. First of all, he makes us calmly aware that trouble is everywhere. Listen to the words of the text. We are troubled on every side, but we're not in distress. He says confusion is a part of the catalyst. We are perplexed, but not in despair. He tells us that persecution is a part of the process. We are persecuted, but not destroyed. That persecution is a part of the process. Simply lets me know that God allows us to go through trials and tribulation to make us stronger. But the final crux of this is that destruction is not a part of the divine diagnosis. He says we are cast down, but not destroyed. That word cast down in the Greek literally means knocked out, knocked out. Here's the question, and I'm done. How do you survive a spiritual knockout? 3 things. Number 1, you've got to have something to get up for. It's just as simple as that. You're knocked down, you've got to have something to get up for. I recall it was either Rocky 1 or Rocky 2 when Apollo Creed knocked Rocky down to the ground, and we thought the fight was over, but he looked over, Adrian. He had something to get up for. That's hope. You've got to have hope. If you're spiritually knocked out, hope simply says that I'm going to defy all of the odds against me and look to the hills from which cometh my help. Did you get that? That's hope. All of my help cometh from the Lord. You've got to have something to get up for. You've got to have something to hold on to. When the boxer gets up after being knocked down, he's trying to hold on to those ropes. You've got to hold on to something. What does the Christian have to hold on to? You've got to hold on to your faith. You've got to have something to get up for. You've got to have something to hold on to. The third and last, you've got to have somebody to help you survive. Every boxer has good cornermen. With Mike Tyson, it was Boondini Brown. With Tyson, it was Cus D'Amato. With Frazier, it was Eddie Futch. And a good cornerman knows when to step in right on time. It was Joe Frazier that was furious with Eddie Futch because he threw the towel in the Thrilla Manila with the fight against Ali. He was upset because his cornerman threw the towel in. But Eddie Futch had already seen 7 men die in the ring. A good cornerman steps in right on time. May I suggest a good cornerman? His name is Jesus Christ, because he steps in right on time at the point of knockout. Who better to look at to survive a knockout than Jesus Christ? He was crucified on the cross of Calvary, but 3 days later, he got up with all power in his hand. That lets me know that your setback may be a setup for a great comeback. How to survive, power, knockout, peace.